You think you know the Philippines. A postcard of white sand beaches and smiling faces. But what if I told you the heart of this nation, its sprawling capital, is a city so haunted by its past and so anxious about its future that it had to invent a new identity from scratch? We're not here to see the sights. We're here to understand a story. A story of a city built on top of another city, of a culture forged in the fires of colonialism and rebellion, and of a people whose resilience is both their greatest strength and, perhaps, their most profound burden. Forget the travel guides. Today, we peel back the layers of Manila to find the truth hidden in plain sight. Our journey begins where most modern stories of Manila do not in the old city, but in a meticulously crafted illusion of order called Makati. This isn't just a district, it's a declaration. The streets are clean, the towers of glass and steel scrape the tropical sky, and luxury cars glide silently to the doors of five-star hotels. This is the Philippines as it wishes to be seen, prosperous, globalized, and in control. The air itself feels different here, sanitized, still, filled with the hiss of espresso machines and the quiet chime of glass doors. It's a world apart. Alongside it, Bonifacio Global City, or BGC, rises from the grounds of a former military base, Fort Bonifacio. The irony is palpable. A space once dedicated to national defense and rigid order has been transformed into a new kind of fortress, one dedicated to corporate ambition and consumerist order. BGC is an even newer, sheenier version of the same dream. With its wide pedestrian lanes, underground utilities, public art installations, and a grid system that feels more like Singapore than Southeast Asia, it represents the ultimate aspiration for a predictable, manageable urban life. Life here moves to a different rhythm. Business professionals in sharp suits hold meetings in artisanal coffee shops, where a single cup can cost more than a laborer's half-day wage. Well-dressed families stroll through the air-conditioned sanctuaries of Ayala Center or Greenbelt, a world away from the city's infamous chaos. In these bubbles, a skilled white-collar worker can earn between 800 to 2,000 dollars a month, a fortune compared to the national average, which hovers closer to 300. But to actually live comfortably within these invisible walls, you'd need at least 3,000 a month. A simple one-bedroom apartment alone can easily consume 100,000, a sum that is unthinkable for the vast majority of the country's 115 million people. These districts are psychological fortresses as much as physical ones. Their meticulously planned environments are a direct response to the visceral fear of the chaos that lies just beyond their borders. But look closer at these gleaming towers. Many are residential condominiums, fortified fortresses in the sky. This is because the Philippines sits squarely on the Pacific Ring of Fire. The ever-present threat of a major earthquake, a terrifying reality for the 14 million souls crammed into Metro Manila, has made these modern, earthquake-resistant high-rises a symbol of safety and status. For those who can afford it, life is a vertical escape from the vulnerabilities of the ground below. But this sparkling facade, this gilded cage, is just one half of the story. And to understand it, we must ask the crucial question: who powers this glittering machine? The answer is whispered through fiber optic cables and sent in wire transfers from every time zone on Earth. The engine of this modern economy has two main pistons, both fueled by the country's greatest export, its people. The first piston is the BPO, or business process outsourcing industry. Those skyscrapers in Makati and BGC aren't just for local banks. They are colossal call centers and back-office operations for companies from North America, Europe, and Australia. A hidden, nocturnal city exists within the city, While one half of Manila sleeps, the other half comes alive. At any given hour, millions of Filipinos are living on a different clock, adopting Western accents to sell products, solve IT problems, or handle customer complaints for people thousands of miles away. It's a grueling graveyard shift existence that has spawned its own subculture of 24/7 restaurants, transportation services, and a workforce perpetually battling sleep deprivation. This industry has become a key, if demanding, pathway to the middle class for a generation of educated, English-speaking Filipinos. The second, and arguably more powerful, piston is the OFW, the overseas Filipino worker. This is the heart of the modern Filipino story, a national narrative of sacrifice and love. Over 10 million Filipinos, nearly 10% of the entire population, work abroad. They are the nurses in London's hospitals, the engineers on Dubai's construction sites, the seafarers on global shipping routes, and the domestic helpers raising other people's children in Hong Kong and Rome. Their remittances, the money they send home, are the lifeblood of the nation's economy, injecting over $30 billion a year and propping up the Philippine peso. This global workforce has profoundly shaped the Filipino identity. But it comes at a tremendous social cost. The Ninoy Aquino International Airport is a theater of this constant drama, a place of heartbreaking goodbyes and joyous reunions. The modern Filipino family is often a transnational one, held together by pixelated video calls and the promise of a better future, a future paid for by years of separation. Children grow up with an parent, a digital ghost of their mother or father. The most potent symbol of this sacrifice is the balikbayan box, a large, humble cardboard box, painstakingly filled over months, with everything from chocolates and soap to sneakers and toys, sent home as a physical manifestation of love and longing. The wealth that builds the glittering towers of Makati and fuels the consumerism in its malls is, in many ways, forged from this collective, heartbreaking sacrifice. And once you step outside these economic fortresses, the reality of that economy and its limitations becomes brutally clear. To leave Makati is to cross an invisible border. The manicured lawns give way to a sprawling, organic, and often overwhelming megalopolis. And the first thing that hits you is the traffic. Manila's traffic isn't just bad, it's a chronic, systemic condition, a daily paralysis that consumes hours of people's lives and chokes the air with a thick haze of pollution. Bridges and main arteries like EDSA become parking lots during rush hour, a testament to infrastructure straining under the weight of a booming population. In this beautiful chaos, you'll find the true kings of the road, the jeepneys. These are not just buses, they are national symbols, rolling canvases of folk art. Originally converted from military jeeps left behind by American forces after World War II. Each jeepney is a unique creation, emblazoned with vibrant colors, chrome horses, airbrushed portraits of family members, and religious iconography. To ride one is to participate in a social ritual. You hand your fare, or bayad, to the person next to you, who passes it along a chain of hands until it reaches the driver. There are no formal stops, you simply yell, "Para po," "Stop, please," when you need to get off. For as little as 13 pesos, or about 22 cents, you get a seat in this rolling, open-air microcosm of Filipino life. For longer distances, there's the Metro Rail Transit, or MRT. It's the fastest way to cut across the city, but it comes at a price beyond the fare. During peak hours, the experience is a full contact sport. You navigate impossibly long lines just to get to the platform. Then you're squeezed into carriages packed so tightly that personal space becomes a forgotten luxury. The air conditioning often struggles, turning the cars into sweltering metal tubes. Yet, for millions, this daily ordeal is the only viable way to commute. In recent years, a new player has emerged: Grab, the ride-hailing app. Southeast Asia's answer to Uber has become indispensable for the middle class and foreigners. It offers a refuge from the uncertainty of flagging down a taxi and haggling over the fare, providing a fixed price and a sense of security. Its popularity reveals a deep-seated desire for predictability in a city defined by chaos, a small luxury people are willing to pay a premium for. Finally, there are the tricycles, motorcycles with a sidecar welded on, that navigate the narrow inner streets and barangays, or neighborhoods where larger vehicles can't go. They are the last-mile solution, the circulatory system of the local community, operated by drivers who know every shortcut and pothole. Navigating this system, the sleek, air-conditioned SUV of the Makati executive, the crowded chaos of the MRT, the vibrant community of the jeepney, and the neighborhood intimacy of the tricycle, is to understand the deep, unyielding social stratification of Manila. Your mode of transport defines your daily reality. So, where do people go when they're not stuck in traffic? Forget the trendy bars of Poblacion for a moment. The true social heart of the Philippines is the shopping mall. Malls here are more than just places to shop. They are public squares, community centers, and vital refuges from the oppressive tropical heat. In a city with a severe lack of public parks and safe recreational spaces, the mall fills the void. On any given Sunday, you'll find entire families spending their day at an SM mall. A chain so ubiquitous, it's part of the national identity. Started by a man who once just sold shoes. They go to mass at the mall's chapel, eat lunch at Jollibee, the beloved local fast food chain that famously beat McDonald's on its home turf. Watch a movie and let the kids play in the arcade. The mall is where dates happen, where friends catch up, and where life unfolds in a climate-controlled environment. But to find the city's real flavor, you must go to the streets. Filipino street food is a testament to ingenuity and a no-waste philosophy. You'll find stalls selling isaw, grilled chicken intestines on a stick, and quack, 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 hard-boiled quail eggs coated in a bright orange batter and deep-fried. You can try balut, the infamous and polarizing fertilized duck embryo, or cool down with sorbetes, a uniquely Filipino ice cream sold from colorful carts by vendors called sorbeteros. And then there's the sound of the streets karaoke. It is an absolute obsession. It's not just in bars, it's a staple of every birthday party, every fiesta, every family gathering. Magic Sing. Microphone is a common household appliance. It's not about singing perfectly, it's about belting out a power ballad with all your heart. It's a form of communal release, a way to express joy, heartbreak, and everything in between. But this resourcefulness has a darker, more desperate side. In the poorest districts like Tondo, you'll find the phenomenon of pag-pag, leftover food, often fried chicken, scavenged from the garbage of fast food restaurant, then re-washed, re-cooked, and sold for a few pesos to those who have no other option. It is a shocking and heartbreaking symbol of the hunger that coexists with the opulence of the nearby financial districts. This is the central paradox of Manila. To understand why this is, we must dig deeper into the very soul of the nation. To understand the Philippines, you must first understand that it is not one nation, but a fusion of many. The story begins in Intramuros, the old walled city of Manila. Walking through its cobblestone streets and past the ancient stone walls of Fort Santiago feels like stepping into a different continent. This is the ghost of the Spanish Empire. For over 300 years, from the 16th to the 19th century, the Philippines was a colony of Spain. This period left the single most defining mark on the country: Catholicism. The Philippines is the only predominantly Christian nation in Asia, and faith is not a Sunday affair, it is woven into the fabric of daily life. It dictates family values, community traditions, and even politics. This is visible in the grand Baroque churches, the vibrant local fiestas, celebrating patron saints, where families open their homes and feed entire communities, and the deep reverence for family. The gesture of mano po, where a younger person takes an elder's hand and presses it to their forehead, is a beautiful, tangible sign of this ingrained respect. The family is the core unit of society, a source of strength and obligation that binds people together, often with multiple generations living under one roof. But just as the Spanish influence began to wane, a new power arrived. After the Spanish-American War in 1898, the Philippines was ceded to the United States. The American colonial period, though much shorter, was just as transformative. They introduced a system of mass public education, and crucially, they introduced English. This is why Filipinos speak English with such proficiency today, a skill that directly enables the BPO and OFW economies. They also introduced their political system, a presidential republic, and their own cultural accessions: Hollywood movies, pop music, beauty pageants, and above all, basketball. You will see makeshift basketball hoops in every village and slum, a symbol of American soft power as potent as any embassy. So the modern Filipino stands at a unique cultural crossroads: a person with a Spanish name, an American-style education, a deep Catholic faith, and an Asian face. They navigate the world with a unique linguistic flexibility, seamlessly switching between English and local dialects in a hybrid known as Taglish. This complex identity, this layering of influences, is the key to understanding everything. This tumultuous history has created a people of almost supernatural resilience. The Philippines is battered by an average of 20 typhoons every year. It's a land of earthquakes, volcanoes, and political upheaval. In response, Filipinos have cultivated a spirit known as bayanihan, a tradition of communal unity and cooperation. The classic image of bayanihan is a whole village coming together to literally lift a neighbor's nipa hut and carry it to a new location. Today, it's seen in the way communities rally after a natural disaster, sharing food, rebuilding homes, and supporting one another with a remarkable sense of humor and grace in the face of hardship. This spirit is embodied most powerfully by its women. The stereotype of the gentle, hospitable Filipina is not wrong, but it is deeply incomplete. Filipino women are the anchors of the family and, increasingly, the economy. They are the mothers managing households while their husbands work abroad, the daughters who become OFWs to send their siblings to school, and the formidable Titus Saants who hold the family together with an iron will. They navigate a society that can be both matriarchal in the home and patriarchal in public, balancing traditional expectations with modern ambitions. Yet, this culture of resilience can also be a double-edged sword. A people accustomed to hardship can sometimes become accustomed to accepting conditions that should be unacceptable. From government corruption to chronic infrastructure failures, the same optimism that helps them survive a typhoon can sometimes translate into a collective shrug at systemic problems. Concepts like Filipino time, a notoriously relaxed attitude towards punctuality, reflect a culture that prioritizes relationships over rigid schedules, but it can also be a source of frustration in a globalized world. It's the unspoken contract of life in the Philippines: endure, adapt, smile, and have faith that things will get better. A mindset that is both a source of incredible strength and a potential obstacle to progress. It would be a crime to end our journey in Manila, because Manila is not the Philippines. It is merely the chaotic, complicated, and fascinating gateway. The real treasure of this nation of over 600 islands lies beyond the city limits. To truly understand the country's soul, you must leave the concrete jungle behind. You could fly to Boracay, an island famous for its powder, fine white sand, which became a global case study when the government shut it down entirely for 6 months to rehabilitate it from the effects of over-tourism. It's a stark lesson in the nation's struggle to balance profit and preservation. Or you could journey to Palawan, the country's last frontier, and sail through the otherworldly limestone karsts of El Nido and Coron, exploring hidden lagoons and shipwrecks from World War II. You might head to Cebu in the Visayas, the country's oldest city, where Magellan first landed and met his end. It's a bustling metropolis in its own right, but with a more laid-back, provincial charm than Manila. Or maybe you'd find yourself on Siargao, a teardrop-shaped island that has become a global mecca for surfers, attracting a bohemian crowd that lives by a simple code of waves, yoga, and fresh smoothie bowls. These islands are the physical manifestation of the paradise promised in postcards. They are a world away from the traffic and the noise, a place where the rhythm of life is dictated by the tides, not by traffic lights. This is the other Philippines, a breathtakingly beautiful natural wonder that stands in stark contrast to the urban struggle of the capital. It represents both the nation's greatest gift and its greatest challenge: how to protect this pristine beauty and share its blessings with all Filipinos, not just the tourists or the wealthy few. This duality, this tension between the concrete jungle and the natural paradise, is the final, defining contradiction of this incredible country. In the end, Manila is more than just a city. It is a living, breathing testament to the complexities of history. It teaches us that a nation's identity is never static. It is constantly being torn down, rebuilt, and reimagined. It's a place of startling contrasts, of sacred faith and street-level survival, of global ambition and local sacrifice, of breathtaking beauty and heartbreaking inequality. It doesn't offer easy answers, but it offers a profound human story, one that will stay with you long after you've left. What part of this story surprised you the most? The reality of Pagpag, the central role of the shopping mall, or the layered ghosts of empire? Share your thoughts or questions in the comments below. If this journey opened your eyes to a new perspective, consider sharing this video with a fellow traveler who loves to look beyond the surface. And for more deep dives into the world's most fascinating and misunderstood places, be sure to subscribe. Thank you for exploring with me. Until next time.